Good evening, dear reader. Welcome to a world where the moonlight dances on the trees, and the whisper of the night carries secrets just waiting to be discovered. Allow me to introduce you to Luna, a little cat with a heart full of curiosity and a spirit ready to explore the unknown. Tonight, she embarks on a journey that will take her far beyond the comfort of her cozy home, into a world filled with mystery, magic, and a few surprises along the way. So, settle in, get comfortable, and prepare yourself for an adventure under the stars. The night holds many wonders, and this is only the beginning. Chapter 1. The Nighttime Journey of the Little Cat. The house was quiet as the evening sun sank below the horizon, casting a soft glow across the room. The little cat, whose name was Luna, sat by the window, her wide amber eyes following the fading light. The world outside seemed so still, yet something stirred inside her, a feeling she couldn't quite explain. It was as if the night itself was calling to her, inviting her to discover something new, something mysterious. Luna was a small cat, soft and grey, with fur that shimmered faintly in the moonlight. She was just a kitten, not yet old enough to understand the world beyond her cozy home. Her life was peaceful, simple even. She had her human, a kind woman who always fed her and made sure she had a warm bed by the fire. But tonight was different. Luna felt an unfamiliar restlessness. The woman, her owner, was preparing for bed. Luna had watched her make the evening tea and read her book in the quiet glow of the lamp. Luna usually curled up beside her, purring contentedly. But tonight she was distracted. The night outside, dark and full of promises, seemed far more enticing than the warmth of the house. As the woman turned off the light and settled into her bed, Luna's curiosity grew. She jumped down from the windowsill and padded softly to the door, her small paws barely making a sound on the wooden floor. The door to the outside world was always closed, of course, but Luna had watched it open many times before, when the woman brought in groceries or stepped outside to water the plants. She had always been too young to go with her, but tonight felt different. Luna heard the soft rustling of wind through the trees, the sound of distant animals calling out in the night. A shiver of excitement ran through her fur. She padded to the door and nudged it with her tiny nose. It creaked open, just enough for her to slip through. Luna hesitated for a moment, glancing back toward the warm light of the house. But the allure of the night, of the unknown, was too strong. She stepped outside. The world was a blur of shadows and light, the air cool against her fur. Luna sniffed the ground, tasting the crisp scent of grass and earth. The moonlight bathed everything in a silvery glow, and for the first time she saw the world outside her little house with new eyes. It was a world full of secrets, waiting to be discovered. The night was alive with sounds. A rustling in the bushes made Luna jump, but it was only a small rabbit, its ears twitching as it darted away. Luna crouched low, feeling the thrill of being in the wild, where everything was so much bigger than she had ever imagined. Then, just as she was about to take another step, Luna heard a deep growl behind her. Her fur stood on end as she whipped around. A large dog stood in the yard, its eyes fixed on her. It was guarding the house, its hackles raised. Luna froze, unsure of what to do. She had never been outside at night before, and certainly never with a dog around. The dog barked, sending a wave of fear through Luna's small body. Her heart raced as she crouched low, trying to make herself as small as possible. The dog took a few steps toward her, its growls growing louder. Luna's instincts kicked in. She turned and dashed for the bushes, her small body weaving between the branches. The dog lunged, but she was faster. Luna squeezed through a gap in the fence and into the neighboring yard, her tail barely escaping the snapping jaws behind her. Panting, she paused to catch her breath. The world beyond the yard stretched out before her, a vast and mysterious place. She had made it past the first obstacle, and the night felt a little less intimidating now. With renewed confidence, Luna continued on her way, the excitement bubbling inside her. There was so much to see, so much to explore. The night was hers to discover. Chapter 2. The Escape. The quiet neighborhood was unfamiliar in the dark. The streets that Luna had seen in the daylight now twisted into shadowy corridors. Every rustling leaf, every distant sound made her ears twitch. She felt small in this vast, unknown world, but she couldn't stop now, not when the adventure had just begun. Luna trotted along, her paws light on the cool ground, the soft crunch of gravel beneath her tiny feet. The stars twinkled above, scattered like diamonds in the sky. A soft breeze brushed through the trees, making them sway and creak, their limbs like hands reaching out into the night. Luna watched them with wonder. She had never noticed how alive the night could be. As she padded through the silent streets, Luna's thoughts raced. What was out here? Who lived beyond her home? The moon was her only companion as she ventured further from the safety of the yard. Soon she found herself standing at the edge of a large, dark forest. The trees towered over her, their branches twisting into strange shapes. The forest seemed to whisper in the breeze, as if it were alive, telling secrets to those brave enough to listen. Luna's eyes widened in awe. She had never been this far from home. The forest was vast, and the shadows within it seemed to hide mysteries, mysteries that called to her, urging her to step forward. The excitement was too much to ignore. She crouched low, her muscles tensing in preparation, and then darted into the forest. The air was thick with the scent of moss and earth. The ground was soft under her paws, and the trees seemed to grow closer with each step, their dark branches stretching out as though trying to catch her. Luna's heart raced as she hurried deeper into the woods. Her tail swished behind her, brushing against the low-hanging branches. After a few moments she slowed, her senses heightened. She listened closely to the sounds around her, the faint hum of insects, the distant call of an owl, the rustling of leaves in the wind. Everything was so different, so much more alive than she had ever imagined. The quiet of the woods was almost eerie, but Luna felt a thrill in the silence. She padded along a winding trail, the light from the moon filtering through the trees in patches. Every now and then, a strange rustling sound caught her attention, but when she turned to look, all she saw were shadows moving in the breeze. Luna paused at the edge of a small clearing. There, perched on a low branch of a tree, was an owl, its large eyes glowing in the dark. Luna's heart skipped a beat. The owl tilted its head, studying her with great interest. It was the first creature she had seen in the forest, and she felt a strange connection to it, as though it understood her in ways the others didn't. "Why do you wander so far from home, little cat?" the owl asked, its voice deep and wise, carrying a hint of amusement. Luna blinked, startled. I want to see the world. I want to know what's out there beyond my yard." The owl chuckled softly, a sound like wind rustling through dry leaves. "Ah, curiosity. A fine thing, but it can lead you into places you might not understand. The world outside is not as simple as it seems." Luna's ears perked up. "What do you mean?" The owl gave a long, thoughtful hoot. "There are places in this forest where time stands still, where creatures you would never imagine dwell. The night holds its own secrets, and not all of them are meant for little cats like you." Luna looked up at the owl, her eyes filled with determination. "I can handle it. I'm not afraid." The owl's gaze softened, and it fluttered down to a branch closer to Luna's level. "Very well, little one. But remember, the night can be as dangerous as it is beautiful. Take care." With that, the owl spread its wings and disappeared into the darkness. Luna stood alone in the clearing, her heart thudding in her chest. The forest seemed even bigger now, the shadows deeper and more mysterious. Yet, despite the owl's warning, Luna felt an irresistible pull to go further. She wasn't going to turn back. Not now, not when the night had so much to offer. With renewed resolve, Luna stepped deeper into the forest, her journey just beginning. Chapter 3: The Enchanted Forest. Luna's paws barely made a sound as she ventured deeper into the forest. The trees around her stood tall like ancient guardians, their bark twisted and dark, and their branches stretching into the night sky, creating an almost impenetrable canopy. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting long, eerie shadows on the forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of pine, damp earth, and something unfamiliar, something magical. The soft rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the faint chirp of unseen creatures filled the silence, but Luna was undeterred. Every step she took into the heart of the forest seemed to pull her further from the safety of the familiar world she had known. She had crossed into a place where time seemed to stretch and bend, where the rules of the day didn't seem to apply. Luna's amber eyes gleamed as she padded through the underbrush. The quiet hum of the forest wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, but at the same time it set her heart racing with excitement. There was so much to discover in the shadows. Suddenly, a soft glow caught her attention. She turned toward it, her ears pricking up. There, just ahead, was a patch of glowing mushrooms. Their caps shimmered with a faint blue light, and Luna's curiosity got the best of her. She approached them slowly, her tail flicking in excitement. As she stepped closer, she noticed that the mushrooms were growing in a perfect circle, each one pulsing with a soft, rhythmic light. The air around them felt different, charged, almost as if the very essence of the forest was alive in this spot. Luna felt the ground beneath her paws hum in response, and her instincts told her that this was a special place, one she was not meant to disturb. She sniffed the air, but it was impossible to discern what made the mushrooms glow. The smell was faint but sweet, almost like the scent of the air just before a thunderstorm. The little cat sat back on her haunches, her tail flicking thoughtfully. She wasn't sure whether to stay or move on, but before she could decide, a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. "Not many cats wander this far," young one." Luna froze, her body stiffening. The voice was low and melodic, filled with a quiet authority that made Luna's fur stand on end. She turned to see a large, wise-looking owl perched on a nearby branch, watching her with sharp, golden eyes. Luna took a cautious step back. Who are you?" The owl blinked slowly, its wings folding neatly against its body. "I am Cora, the guardian of this forest," the owl replied, its voice soft yet commanding. "You have entered a sacred place, little cat. The forest holds many secrets, and not all of them are meant for those who are not yet ready." Luna's heart skipped a beat. She had been exploring the woods, yes, but she didn't know it was sacred. "I didn't mean any harm. I was just curious about the glowing mushrooms." Cora let out a soft chuckle, the sound like the wind through the trees. Curiosity is a fine thing, but it can lead one into the unknown. There are places here where time is not as it seems, and creatures that wander from the darkness do not always welcome visitors. Luna tilted her head, trying to understand. "What kind of creatures?" "Creatures of the night," the owl replied, its eyes narrowing slightly. "Things that slither and creep, hidden in the shadows. They are not evil, but they are not friendly either. The forest does not distinguish between those who seek its secrets for good or for ill. It only reacts to the one who enters." Luna's ears twitched at the owl's words. The forest was alive in a way she had never considered. It was full of mysteries, yes, but perhaps it was also full of danger. Before Luna could ask more, the owl spread its wings, soaring into the air with a sound like a whisper. "If you truly wish to continue, little cat, you must tread carefully. The forest is watching, and its heart is deeper than you may ever know. Go now, but remember my words." Luna stood alone in the glowing clearing, her thoughts swirling. She was no longer just a little cat on an adventure. She was a small creature in a vast living world, filled with creatures who were far older and wiser than she could ever imagine. Her journey was far from over, but the world ahead felt much more daunting now. With the owl's words echoing in her mind, Luna continued through the forest, her senses alert to every sound, every movement. The trees around her seemed to lean closer, their branches whispering secrets she could not yet understand. Chapter 4. The Magical Village. The deeper Luna went into the forest, the more she felt as though she were crossing some invisible boundary. The world around her began to change, the trees growing denser, the air thick with mystery. It wasn't just the moonlight that illuminated her path now. It was something more. There was a soft, ethereal glow ahead, as though the very ground beneath her paws was glowing with its own light. Luna's heart skipped a beat. She quickened her pace, her paws making soft, muffled thuds against the moss-covered earth. She had no idea where this glowing light was coming from, but she had to find out. As she pushed through the thick foliage, the light grew brighter, until at last she emerged into an open space. And there, before her, stood a village unlike anything she had ever seen. The village was small, nestled between ancient trees. But what struck Luna first was the way it shimmered in the moonlight. The houses were not made of wood or stone, but of glowing material that pulsed softly, as if alive. Some houses had windows made of what appeared to be glass, but when Luna looked closer, she saw that the glass was actually a shimmering liquid, swirling inside as though it were in motion. The streets were paved with smooth, glistening stones that reflected the glow of the houses. There were no sounds of people or animals, but Luna could feel that the village was alive, even if it appeared empty. As Luna stepped closer, she saw something even stranger. Figures moved in and out of the glowing houses, strange, wispy creatures. They weren't quite animals, but they weren't quite people either. They seemed to be made of light and shadow, their forms shifting like smoke, and their eyes glowing with an inner light. Luna took a cautious step forward, but before she could get too far, a voice called out from the shadows, "You there, little one?" Luna spun around to find an elderly raccoon standing at the edge of a small bridge. His fur was thick and silver with age, his eyes wise and knowing, but there was something about his presence that made Luna feel safe. "Who are you?" Luna asked, her voice small. The raccoon chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling with a kind of mischievous wisdom. "I am the elder of this village. You've come upon a very special place, little cat. Not many find their way here. But if you have come this far, then perhaps you are here for a reason." Luna stepped forward, her eyes wide with curiosity. "What is this place? Where am I?" "This village," the raccoon explained, "is called Nocturna. It exists only in the night, hidden from the eyes of those who cannot see beyond the ordinary. We are creatures of the twilight, bound to the night and its mysteries, and we've been waiting." "Waiting?" Luna asked, her heart pounding. The raccoon nodded. "Yes, the balance of the world is shifting, and we need someone with courage to help us restore it. But before you decide, little cat, you must understand something. This village, like the forest, is bound to the night. It is cursed, trapped in an eternal twilight. Only those who can uncover the secret of the curse can set us free." Luna blinked. "How can I help?" The raccoon's eyes gleamed with an unspoken understanding. "That, little cat, is something only you can discover." And so, the mystery of Nocturna was set before her. The village, the creatures of the night, the forest, it was all part of something much bigger than Luna had ever imagined. A secret needed to be uncovered, and Luna, despite her fears, knew that she was the one chosen to unravel it. Chapter 5. The Secret of Nocturna. Luna stood frozen on the edge of the glowing village, her mind swirling with 1,000 questions. The raccoon, the elder of Nocturna, watched her closely with his wise, knowing eyes. The village behind him shimmered softly in the night, casting an ethereal glow over the moss-covered bridge and the winding streets. Everything about this place was both familiar and completely foreign to her. The raccoon's gaze softened as he watched Luna try to process the weight of his words. "You must be wondering what is really going on, little cat," he said, his voice gentle but full of authority. "This village, this world you've wandered into, isn't like the one you left behind. The night has its own rules here." Luna swallowed nervously but nodded. I don't understand. How can I help? What curse are you talking about?" The elder raccoon stepped closer, his silver fur glowing in the dim light. His eyes were bright, yet his expression carried the gravity of ancient knowledge. To understand, you must first know what Nocturna is, and why it is trapped in this eternal twilight. The curse began long ago, in an age when humans and creatures of the night lived together in harmony. This village, like many others, was part of a world where the boundaries between the realms of day and night were not so rigid. There was a balance. Luna's ears perked up, her curiosity piqued. What happened to that balance? The elder sighed, his fur ruffling slightly in the breeze. Greed and fear. People began to fear the night. They forgot its magic, its beauty, and began to see it as a thing to be controlled, something to be feared and conquered. They sought to separate the realms of day and night, to build walls between them. Luna's heart pounded in her chest as she listened. She had always felt the mystery of the night, the way it called to her, but she never thought that the very fabric of the world could be so easily undone. The more they tried to control the night, the more it began to slip away. As they shut themselves away in their cities, the creatures of the night, like us, were pushed into hiding. The more they tried to separate the two worlds, the more the balance shifted. The village of Nocturna, like many others, was swallowed by the twilight, stuck between day and night, locked in a perpetual state where neither time nor nature could progress. Luna's mind raced. She had always thought of the night as something peaceful, something full of adventure, but she never considered that it could be a force that could be broken, or that something as simple as fear could sever the connection between the world of light and the world of darkness. "But what does that have to do with me?" Luna asked, her voice small, barely above a whisper. "I'm just a kitten. How can I possibly fix something so big?" The elder raccoon smiled gently, his eyes twinkling with quiet wisdom. "Ah, but you are not just a kitten. You are the first of your kind to venture into this forest in many generations. The night has chosen you, Luna. You have the heart of an adventurer, and you have something others do not, a pure curiosity, the courage to seek answers. In this world of twilight, the only way to restore balance is through the courage of the curious. But to do that, you must unlock the secret of the curse." Luna's tail flicked nervously behind her. She wasn't sure she understood all of this, but she felt something stirring deep within her, a sense of purpose that she couldn't ignore. The forest, the village, the creatures of the night, they had all led her here to this moment. She had to help, even if she didn't fully understand what was at stake. "I'll help," Luna said, her voice stronger now. "I'll do whatever it takes. Just tell me what I need to do." The elder nodded, his eyes filled with pride. "The first step is to understand the source of the curse. It lies deep within the heart of the forest, in a place where the shadows are thickest and the moonlight cannot reach. There is an ancient well, a well that once drew power from the balance between day and night. The curse, however, has corrupted it, twisted its magic into something dark." Luna felt a shiver run down her spine. A well, in the heart of the forest. Yes, but it will not be easy to reach. The journey is perilous, and the path is fraught with dangers, both seen and unseen. The forest is not kind to those who seek to disturb its hidden places. But you are the key. Without you, Nocturna will remain in this twilight forever. Luna's gaze hardened. She had come this far, and she was not about to turn back now. Where do I start? The elder raccoon's eyes gleamed. You must journey to the heart of the forest. Follow the path that twists and turns, guided only by the stars above. But beware, Luna. The forest is alive. It can sense your fears, and it will try to use them against you. Luna felt a surge of determination rise within her. She had faced the unknown before, and now, with the entire village relying on her, she knew she had no choice but to continue forward. "Where do I go?" she asked, her voice firm. The elder pointed toward the thick trees ahead, where the shadows seemed darker than anywhere else in the village. "There, you will find the entrance to the deeper woods. You must be brave, for the path will test your courage." Luna nodded, taking a deep breath. The forest ahead seemed darker than before, the trees more imposing. The night seemed to be alive with whispers, as though the shadows themselves were watching her. But Luna wasn't afraid, not any more. "I'll go," she said, her voice filled with quiet resolve. "I won't stop until I find the heart of the forest." The elder smiled warmly, his silver fur glowing softly in the moonlight. "I knew you would, Luna. The night has chosen well." With that, Luna turned toward the darkened path, her heart pounding in her chest but her spirit strong. The journey ahead would be difficult, but Luna was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The village of Nocturna, the forest, and the very fabric of the night itself were depending on her, and she would not let them down. As Luna ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, the trees seemed to close in around her. The soft glow of the village was soon nothing more than a distant memory, swallowed by the thick darkness. But Luna was not alone. The night, with all its magic and mystery, was guiding her forward.